Hello, hello, and welcome to Swarm Community Call, a monthly open call for developers, node operators, and the wider community around Swarm, happening every last Thursday of the month, broadcast to X and YouTube as well. So last month we had some technical difficulties resulting in poor audio quality, so we've changed the setup this month. And I really hope that everybody can hear me nice and clear, and of course that this stays that way for the rest of the call. If you would like to ask a question or join the conversation later on, please head to Swarm's Discord server and use stage chat to post your questions. Discord remains our main dev community hub for now, so yeah, please just join and ask us anything there. In today's March edition of the call, the agenda is as the following. For a change, we won't be starting with core development updates, but by introducing Kos, our newly joined community lead. We'll do also an overview of our near future engagements at conferences, events, and other community activities. After that, we'll continue as we usually do with the core development updates. And next, we'll hear about the protocol team formation and the reasons behind that. And we'll close with the community talk, a section in which I'll invite Nandi from Solarpunk team to present us the mobile node proof of concept. All right, let's kick things off. As said, it's my pleasure to bring to the stage Kos, our new community lead. Kos, hi and welcome. Can we hear you?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Mina. Thank you for the intro.
So
Yeah,
let's maybe first hear a very brief introduction by you. We've met at the last Web3 Privacy Now Congress in Argentina in November, where you shared the stage with Victor, Swarm's architect and founder. And okay, we've heard it then, but our listeners here haven't. What is your main focus in Web3, and where can Swarm community expect to see your impact?
yes. I had a background like coming from like human rights, like activism, different kinds of logics, like diving directly into decentralized governance and all the beautiful cypherpunk aligned values. But yes, in the context of Swarm, I will be supporting community engagement mainly and moderation. So you will see me in the channels, particularly on Discord, but coming up on X and yours as well. So you will see me there quite a bit. I'm basically going to be channeling your feedback and taking into account this towards like leadership. And yes, in this logic, like we're going to continue to grow the community, and I will be supporting a little bit of like content adaptation and just as well like across channels. But a lot of this is going towards like ecosystem monitoring and thinking about like how we grow community, how we develop this as a strategy. So yeah, it's quite exciting what's coming up in that regard. And yeah, we'll give you a few sneak peeks. Thank you,
Yeah,
Mina.
exactly. So actually, yesterday, speaking, I mentioned events in the start. Speaking of events, as part of DevRel efforts, a new series of workshop has been launched. Yesterday, we had the first one called An Intro to Swarm. It's available to rewatch on YouTube. Obviously, I'll paste the link later in the stage chat in Discord. But we also have 3 more planned until the end of May. Can you share some more details on that?
Of course, we had an exciting one coming up. The next one is particularly it's about making your agent decentralized. So in this sense, it's just the NCP. So particularly using the SWAR NCP. So for the context of how our agents are living out there. So this is basically going to be able to, let's say, like you deploy your agent and your agent has the capability of like jumping into the SWAR network and just basically maintaining context, which is quite interesting. This is going to become more and more meaningful. This is on the 8th of April. Yes, and then we jump into the 5th of May. We're gonna be talking about like one of these very specific and like nuanced topics, which is like how to decentralize any front end. So we can go forth in having dApps that had a centralized front end. Now we are here to cure this. So we're gonna have this session on the 5th of May. and that's going to be quite exciting. And we're going to
That one is definitely very important. And also, this one is kind of also, if I understand correctly, kind of ready also for beginners. So it's kind of beginner friendly. No need to be already deeply knowledgeable on, I don't know, some CLI stuff, right?
Yes, yes. That was like the first thing I did when I jumped on the job. Like just like playing with like my Substack, how will it look like directly on Swarm? So yeah, it's very exciting. You can connect it to your ENS profile, which is quite interesting, and maintain like updates of it with the features. I mean, with the feed feature. So that's definitely a game changer. And then we're gonna have a closing workshop for now on the 12th of May. And this is on the centralized streaming. You probably had heard about like our partnership with Crypto Mondays, so we're doing like the centralized streaming then. And this is tried and tested, and we had like basically we're going to be talking about like how this other event organizers can use this type of feature. So it's definitely exciting technology in this day and age.
Definitely. Definitely. And I really look forward to these workshops. They'll all be like, very hands-on, short and concise. So yeah, looking forward to the rest of them. And if you missed the first one, the intro to Swarm, do rewatch it. We'll share links in Discord and on our channels. I'm sure there'll be several X posts on that as well. So now let's also look at some events and conferences where Swarm will be present. ETHCC in Cannes is coming up next week, and we'll have Migle active there. And if you're interested in getting to know Swarm more, exploring the opportunities, talking real-world impact, and so on, you can book an exclusive one-on-one with her. She'll have open coffee hours, most likely on Tuesday, 1st of April. Not a joke. So watch out for a link to register on X. I think that right now this link and the Luma page is being formed, so this will be shared with you very soon. And then in May, of course, May is for ETH Prague, right?
Yes. That's one of the highlights, honestly, in all the conferences. And I will say this is the 8th to 10th of May. We are there as a Bean sponsor. What does that mean? That means we're gonna have a booth, and that's exciting. You can find us there. You can possibly just come chat with the team. That's always exciting, just to have like some one-on-one. We're also going to be partaking in the hackathon space. So be sure to look out for like what bounties are going to be coming up. And Migle is also going to be there, and she's going to be giving a blunt like road to proper decentralization. It's like we talk about the stack and how it breaks in practice. So of course, we mentioned front ends, but gateways, RPCs. So yeah, this is very interesting if we think about like the last kind of like headliner AWS outage that we had like during DevConnect last year. So just thinking about how these different puzzle pieces like get put together in terms of like decentralized infrastructure. So yes, look forward to a panel which you're going to be partaking. And yeah, stay tuned to more announcements on this regard.
Definitely. Okay, on top of that, there's also a Swarm hosted event coming up, Swarm Accelerator Hack Days. That's going to be from 20 to 24th of April. And there, basically the team and the core contributors will gather to accelerate the development of the Swarm network, obviously, and also some complementary features, libraries, and whatnot. But this will be reported on in detail in our next community call. I hope that Kos will be there with us then, and will share a full report on what went down during the Hack Days. Please stay with us. Kos, obviously, he's going to be with us throughout the call. If you have any questions at this point, just head to the stage chat channel. But now let's bring Lyubisha, our BDev developer, on stage for the core dev updates. B2.7.1 was released on Monday. This was a patch release following last month's B2.7 release. And Lyubisha, just please walk us through more details.
Hello, everybody. So B2.71 is a patch release where we had a, let's say, nine pull requests that were important for this. So in 2.7, we introduced auto TLS. So this is capability of the node to retrieve the certificates automatically and to enable WebSocket secure. Some problems arise, and those were like regarding connectivity issues, which we were trying to fix to be able to bring VSS at scale. So we had 5 peer-to-peer fixes. 2 other fixes not related to this were also included, and 2 maintenance fix. So one of those where we had the increased number of underlay addresses occurred when we introduced 2.7, and this led to basically context, so timeout starvation. So if you try to connect to multiple underlays, we had only 15 seconds connection timeout, which we increased to have for each underlay with a total budget of 45 seconds. Additional thing was we introduced in this patch release, we introduced transport filtering. So each node will just try to communicate with the other peers which support the same transport. We have also an internal component called the reacher, which is responsible for detecting the reachability of the other peers. And we introduced additional improvement of it. Before, reacher retried at some flat interval, trying to reach other peers. But we added some exponential backoff, some jitter. So where we also reduced the number of workers from 16 to 8. Additional improvement was introducing the heap and overall, so which led to better performance of the reacher. And we succeeded to detect what unreachable addresses we could skip, and this also prevents pollution of unreachable addresses in our address book, which are further propagated by the Hive. So in total, 5 fixes for the peer-to-peer. We did 2 improvements regarding postage package. So one was regarding snapshot optimization. So snapshots are now loading even faster and with less impact on the node. And we prevented one panic which we had regarding the top up of the postage batch. 2 additional PRs which were included were for removing some dead code that was there for quite a bit of time, completely unused, and we updated postage snapshot to have the latest block number. So yeah, this is like few stuff that we did, and the question is what is next. So currently, so I'll give you some heads up. We are working on multiple stuff, but some examples are here. So we are mostly working on stability and performance improvements. For example, regarding stability, we will try to reduce the number of RPC calls that node makes, and this would lead to reducing the operational costs for node operators. And for example, for performance optimization, we are actively working on improvements on reserve sample. This is node's proof of storage computation, and it's very important for the storage incentives redistribution game. So additionally, internally in the team, we are also working for a faster release to improve this process, that we have to deliver more improvements and more updates more frequently. So smaller, focused releases, and yeah.
That sounds very, very good. I'm very glad to hear that. I'm also sure that everybody in the call who is a node operator kind of really appreciates you saying that. Thanks, Subisha. I mean, this presentation was so thorough that I'm left with no questions. Honestly, it was all there. In case you do have any questions, please do head to this stage chat in Discord, or maybe you can post some questions in YouTube's chat channel. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's possible. Yeah, we can pick them up there and just bring them to the stage. But now let's move on with the next section, which is in focus. So there's been a, let's say, long-running internal and community debate about taking a deep, honest look at protocol-level questions. Some of them, what should be different or better, what might make more sense in the long run, what needs to be corrected rather than patched around, and what's the level of protocol changes versus implementation details. So to address this, a protocol team is taking shape as we speak, and I will now welcome two guests on the stage, or maybe even three. I'm not sure, because I don't see backstage in this program that we're running on. So Andrew McPherson from Stuka Research. I think also Ata is with us from Stuka, and Henning Dietrich, who will soon be leading this newly formed team. Hello to all of you. So Andrew, anybody who's around in our Discord community probably saw him voicing some ideas on how to reapproach the sweeps handling, as well as improving the agility of the network. So can you just, as an intro, share the gist of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so thanks, Mina. So maybe I'll start with a little bit of short background of how I got into thinking about this recently. Those of you who were here on the community call when I last spoke might remember that I gave a sort of opinionated take on a vision of a direction for Swarm, for the economic aspects of Swarm's protocol. So that's staking, tokenomics, market structure, and sort of incentivizing and stimulating a scaling supply side. And the presentation there was intended to sort of spark a debate. So I sort of threw away nuance and stated opinions boldly in order to try and get a discussion going. But then I was kind of surprised to find that actually I kind of just got a lot of support. Like, I had people getting in touch with me saying, "Yep, let's do that." And then I started wondering, okay, well, if everybody agrees with doing that stuff, why isn't it happening already? So I realized that, I have to look into, how can we improve the way protocol development is being done in Swarm, so to enable this kind of thing to happen, for the sort of community's desires to be realized more rapidly and make it into the protocol. So I started. I reached out to Victor, and I started working with the Swarm Foundation to try and revisit protocol development process, and especially the SWIP process. And sort of a few months later, I've handed my recommendations to the foundation, and it looks like this protocol team is happening, and there are some details left to fill in, but it looks like change is on its way.
Change is definitely on its way. Yep. So that's why the other guest here, Henning, joining us as the protocol team lead shortly. Not yet, but we're bringing you very, very fresh news here in this community call. Henning, you also have been collaborating with Victor on several papers in the past, including the so-called DREAM paper, and most recently, you're doing research on the Swarm Pod.js. So what's your high-level impulse entering this protocol reshape, and your thoughts on it?
Yeah, thank you, Mina. And I think Andrew set it up perfectly. I mean, he has basically been creating this position, I think, with the input he has been giving. And I think we all want to see Swarm to move forward, including more of what the community is bringing forward. And if we look, for example, at the 100 PR and issues that are out there, this is definitely one thing where everybody understands, okay, this is just something that has to be sorted through, that has to be organized and has to be prioritized. And that's, I think, a very hands-on example for what it is, where this can all be brought forward. And I guess from the work that I've been doing with Victor, you mentioned the papers I've been writing. I've known Swarm and Victor for 10 years now, meanwhile, and with the highest respect, it's a lot of fun working on the protocol level. But my background is also a little bit on, I've been leading teams, I've been organizing stuff, I've been doing production. And I guess this combination is I want to bring forward and want to bring to bear, helping to, on the one hand, understanding what it is that is actually in the backlog, what it is where communication is lagging, understanding also on the deeper level, on the protocol level, what it is that actually has to happen. But on the other side, also a lot about communication, a lot about more from the consulting side, so to say, where it's about the processes, understanding what could be organized in a better way, and then making it possible for the whole process and all the different players to work together in a more organized, more productive way.
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, it's mostly, so why, and why this and why now? So I guess this is a kind of bringing research and engineering closer together with kind of top priority being improving agility, I guess, and also building more in public. So that's why we're talking about this at this community call, right?
Yeah, right, absolutely. And I hope that's a little bit where my background, I mean, I've been working as a director for blockchain at the Boston Consulting Group. I've been working at IBM. I've been working as a consultant to the European Commission and Temasek. And there's always been a lot of protocol work where on the one hand, you had this deep technical aspect, and on the other hand, you had this task of explaining it to people who might not be technical and build these bridges. That's also, I wrote the first book on Ethereum back then, and it was really my passion to explain to people who are not technicians what you can do with this. And I think we have a similar kind of stakeholder situation here where not everybody has all the deep insight and all the different niches of the entire ecosystem. And we want to build bridges here and make the whole thing more productive and more fun.
Definitely. And also kind of facilitate the real use cases, just bringing and working on all the aspects that can kind of drive that and drive towards the adoption, essentially. So Andrew and Henning, you both will be attending the Swarm Hack Days or Swarm Accelerator Hack Days. And I guess after that, in our next community call, which is last Thursday of April, we'll be able to already bring you some more details into the public. Okay, thank you for joining us. Please do ask questions. I mean, I'm here reading them out, obviously live in the call if they appear, but if you do, think of any later on, we can pick them up offline, obviously. That said, let's move towards our community talk section. And today we're going to talk about the mobile node. This is a light or ultralight, but light node to be more specific. And we have Nandi from Solarpunk team with us today. Nandi is the lead developer of mobile node, and he'll be presenting a proof of concept and obviously his findings to you today. Just as a brief introduction, and before we hear Nandi, this is a Java-based implementation or wrapper designed to run bClient functionality in an Android environment with a very simple goal, and it's an important one too: enable people to access the Swarm network directly from their phones as a light client rather than depending on third-party infrastructure. I hope I said that correctly, but that's how I see the mobile node. Nandi, do we have you in the call?
Hi, Mina. Thanks.
Hey. So, yeah, the stage is yours. Please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. just a few notes. What you're going to see, I do a recording about this native Android application, which we're going to run on Android Sunio's emulator. And I demo some functionalities that's like we have in the Swarm desktop application. For instance, the node can connect to the Swarm network as an ultralight or light node, as you said. It can buy postage batches or stamps, upload file to Swarm, and download file to Swarm as a POC. So I'm going to share my screen now. Here we go. Okay, and this is the first thing what we can see when we start the application is the node configuration, where we can select the node mode, which can be light or ultralight, as I'm showing right now. For light node, what are we going to choose? We need an RPC endpoint, and I'm going to turn off node caching, otherwise no network traffic going to happen because I'm going to download what I have uploaded. So I start the node, need to wait a while it's connecting to its peers and retrieve the wallet data. There is no wallet management in this POC currently. This is just showing what we have, and the fact that we have BZZ on the checkbook. And continuing, I'm going to go to the upload section. For upload, we need stamps. There is a view for this to create stamps, which is user-friendly, I think, because it's calculating the effective size of the stamp regarding of the depth of the stamp, the duration. We can make immutable and non-immutable stamps. We can label them, and we're going to have an indicative price, which is queried from the chain. Yeah, and I'm just going to skip this, by the way, because it takes around 1 or 2 minutes to get the stamp up and running. But I've prepared for this demo a demo stamp, what I'm going to select right now. And I'm going to select this nice picture about the doggy. I'm going to upload it to Swarm. It's done because it's not so big. We have an upload history. And just for the POC, we just tried out Android's default share functionality. That means that if I press that button, then it's going to pop up. The application what installed on this emulator is not so much. But the thing is that we can share this gateway link. In real life, we can share this link with others who doesn't have this node on their phone, so they can see what I just uploaded. But for now, I'm going to copy this hash. And just for demonstrating purposes, I go to the download section, paste the hash, and download it. It downloads. The file manager pops up. I'm going to rename it, just not to overwrite. Save it, and we're going to have a history about this as well. And there is one more thing that I would like to highlight, that this node thing is implemented in a way that it's running as an Android service. So, for instance, if I open another application, like the file manager, what we've seen before, the application is in the background and the node is still running. So if I do something, then I open the application manager of Android, like this. We can see that there is an application. So if I really want to stop this service, we just, with gesture, we just throw it away. Otherwise, I'm going to click it, and then it will be up and running. So don't need to restart it or things like that. And that was the POC.
Amazing. I mean, it's really amazing to see this work. And actually, I have this a question. So how challenging, or what was the biggest challenge of getting the B client to run on Android? Because I heard that there was you needed to hack the Golang to compile it to get around Android restrictions on peer-to-peer connecting. So what was up with that? And how did you get around it?
Well, it's really technical, and I don't think we have enough time for that. It's documented in Solarpunk GitHub repository. So there's a Swarm Mobile Android name repository, and all the details and links are there for these issues and solutions.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So can you please share that later in this in the stage chat? Because we also had, I noticed some just recently a community member asking about the option of having a mobile client, and I'm pretty sure they would appreciate a lot if you shared more details as to how you managed to go around it, how you kind of work through the challenges. And also, I think that they had some questions. If you found a running Node in the background challenging in any way, and why?
Well, it was challenging because Go works in a different way that like the Android application. For instance, when you shut down a Go application, it has some routines which need to close things. But the example is there, so I managed to do it to shut down the node properly and everything gets saved well peacefully. But yeah, it was a challenge.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you intend to continue working on this, or maybe I heard people in our like Hack Days chat kind of initiating the idea of a freedom browser on mobile or something like that. Do you see that happening? How far are we from this really, from the node in your pocket concept?
Well, I cannot really answer for this because on every forum or demo where I've demonstrated this implementation, we have newer and newer ideas. So the thing was about this proof of concept implementation that now there's an example and everyone can use it to implement whatever idea they have to, build upon on Swarm with some kind of mobile device. And I don't know how far it will go,
I hope it goes far.
I hope so, yes.
So yeah, thanks Nandi for this great demo. And thank you everybody for joining, for being speakers in this call, and for to everybody obviously listening. You can also re-listen. These calls will stay on YouTube, will stay on X, so you're welcome to re-listen at any point. Thank you for joining us live. And we'll be back, obviously, next month, as always, last Thursday of the month, which falls on 30th of April. And I'm sure we're going to have plenty of fresh updates coming out of this Swarm Hack Day accelerator days. So be sure to join us then. And until then, all the best of luck to everybody, and see you in April.